Welcome to the Aging Well Firefighter, the podcast for first responders, our families, and the communities we serve. Whether you're on the front lines or standing with us, I'm here to help you fight wisely and age bravely. There's a lot you have to learn when you become a personal trainer about anatomy and nutrition and exercise programming. But there's one thing they don't teach you. In fact, they can't teach you this. And it's a lesson that I learned the hard way in a moment that changed my entire approach to coaching. It's one of the reasons I wrote my latest article for Firefighter Nation. This is my third article published on Firefighter Nation, and it's called Fit to Serve, Free from Shame, a better way to lead fitness in the firehouse. In it, I dig into why shame-based fitness culture, this no excuses rhetoric that we hear so often, doesn't actually work in the fire service. It might get short-term compliance, but in the long run, it alienates people, it drives them away from the fitness that we're trying to build, and it undermines our readiness. Today, I want to take you behind the article. Think of this as a sort of director's commentary. I'll share a story about one of my early clients, I'll call her Tammy, that totally changed my coach approach and how that experience connects to the greater culture of fitness in the fire service. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Not too long after I started working full-time as a personal trainer, I signed a client who I'll call Tammy. Tammy was a working mom with 3 kids whose husband wasn't around much. And to be straightforward, she had ignored her own health and fitness for a long time. She wanted help losing some weight, and she came to me because I had my own weight loss story that gave her some hope and some inspiration. Now, I did everything a personal trainer was supposed to do. I weighed her in, I started her on a program, and I got her food logging. And these things really seemed to be going well. Then one day, she came in with her food journal for me to review. Let's just say she'd had a rough week. I was standing over her with her notes in my hand, looking over the pages when I asked, "Do you want to tell me about this?" She immediately broke down crying. Now, there's a lot of things they teach you when you're learning how to be a personal trainer about mesocycles and anatomy and kinesiology and macronutrients, but one thing they don't prepare you for is how to deal with a crying female. I felt awful. And then I did exactly what personal trainers are not supposed to do. I backpedaled. I completely dropped the tough guy persona right then and there to approach Tammy's situation with compassion and empathy. It turns out she'd had a really tough week, and stress eating was her fallback like it is for many of us. We had an honest talk about stress and about family, about balancing nutrition, and about adjusting her workouts to take into account the extra stress so her body wasn't overloaded. And I learned a valuable lesson about the personal side of personal training, that it isn't just about sets and reps and calories. It's about being personal, about helping people feel stronger and more confident and supported. Shaming people with extreme accountability doesn't get them motivated. It makes them feel like failures. I had learned the power of empathy and positivity and small wins, and I swore that I would never try to be the drill sergeant trainer again. Just like my client Tammy, a lot of firefighters already know when they're struggling with fitness. They don't need to be reminded. They feel it every time they put on their gear or climb a flight of stairs or finish a tough call. What they need isn't more shame. What they need isn't more tough guy slogans like, you need to be fit for the job or you need to do it for them. What they need is support. And here's where I think we've got a double standard in the fire service. Over the last decade, we've made huge strides in how we talk about mental health. We've learned to be trauma informed and to check in on each other and to create space for people to admit when they're struggling. We don't tell someone with PTSD or depression that they have no excuses or they need to be fit for the job or they need to get mental health for them. We don't insist that there's only one right way to heal. We've learned that compassion and flexibility are essential. But when it comes to physical health and fitness, we keep falling back into these old school habits. We hear the no excuses rhetoric. We see fitness gatekeeping, where only the fittest are made to feel like they belong, and everyone else is falling short. They need to keep their heads down. We see influencers and even some fire service leaders insisting that there's only one right way to train, whether it's CrossFit, high-intensity interval training, on-object workouts. And if you don't fit that mold, you're made to feel like you're less of a firefighter, like you aren't measuring up. The reality is, our job is demanding. Shift work and sleep deprivation, injuries that are chronic, family stress, even trauma all affect our ability to train and recover. It's all cumulative. And like I've talked about in other articles and podcasts, fitness isn't just about willpower. It's about navigating those barriers in a way that works for each individual. Everyone's path to fitness is different. And there are many ways to get to the same end result, which is being ready for the job. So my question is, why do we treat mental health with compassion, but physical health with judgment? Why do we accept shame and gatekeeping in one area of well-being when we would never ever tolerate it in another? Listen, if we truly value readiness and resilience and the health of our people, then we need to bring the same compassion and flexibility to physical health that we now strive for in mental health. So here's the challenge I want to put in front of us. First, take a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I building people up or am I tearing them down? It's easy to fall back on the no excuses line because it sounds tough and it feels like leadership. But real leadership isn't about making people feel smaller. It's about helping them rise up. Now, take a look around your firehouse. What kind of fitness culture do you see there? Is it one where people feel supported and invited in? Or is it one where only the fittest feel like they belong and everyone else keeps their head down? We already know what kind of culture we want when it comes to mental health. One that's trauma-informed and compassionate and supportive. So why should fitness be any different? Everyone's path to fitness is different, and there are many ways to get to the same end result. What matters is that we create a culture where every firefighter feels like they have a place, and every effort is respected. That is the kind of fire service that I want to be a part of. And I think you do too. Now, if this resonates with you, I'd like to encourage you to read the full article at Firefighter Nation. Once again, it's called Fit to Serve, Free from Shame, a better way to lead fitness in the firehouse. I'll have the link in the show notes. Please check it out and share it with your crew. And if you want to go even deeper, I've also written a piece on my Substack that I called The Hidden Cost of Hardcore Coaching, and it's got its own companion podcast episode. That one digs into why drill sergeant coaching backfires and how we can do better in the fitness industry. I'll link that in the show notes as well. Here's my final thought. Shame doesn't build stronger firefighters. The science shows that. Support does. Let's keep building up a fire service culture where fitness is about lifting each other up, not tearing each other down. I want to thank you for listening in today. And if you've got a story about fitness, about your firehouse, about the culture of fitness in your firehouse, I'd love to hear it. Reach out, shoot me an email, drop me a note on my contact form on my website, shoot me a text, seek me out on social media, and send me a direct message. I would love to be able to share your story with your permission. And if you'd like to come on and talk about it, I'd love to have you as a guest. Until next time, listener, fight wisely, age bravely.